Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to plunge into some pretty profound wisdom, really give you a shortcut to understanding complex ideas.
Absolutely.
And today we're embarking on, well, an incredible journey into the philosophy of Vallalar. He's an ancient Tamil visionary, and his teachings, they blend deep spirituality with some really surprising scientific insights.
They really do.
Our mission today, it's to show you how his vision offers potentially a unique path to world peace, and human evolution, and why it feels more relevant than ever right now.
Exactly. And we'll be, digging into the source material you shared, that YouTube transcript from Salem Kuppusamy Vallalar Sorpozhivu.
Right.
The aim is to help you understand not just what Valar taught, but more importantly, why his vision actually matters for you today. Distilling these big concepts into something clear, maybe even actionable.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The source material calls Valar a complete philosopher. I mean, that's high praise. What makes him so significant? Why put him in that top tier?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? The source puts him right up there with giants like Plato, Aristotle, Kant, Hegel, Western giants. But what sets him apart, according to the source, is the sheer breadth. We're talking original contributions across something like over 35 distinct topics.
35?
Yeah. So imagine not just a moral philosopher or someone focused purely on metaphysics, but someone offering, groundbreaking ideas on society, education, the universe's nature, even the human body itself. That's the kind of completeness they're getting at.
That's just astonishing for anyone, really, let alone an ancient visionary. And it doesn't stop at philosophy, does it? The source also talks about him as a scientist.
Right.
Especially his unique take on the divine, the origins of the universe. What was his angle there?
Indeed. He introduced this concept, Arutperunjothi. It translates roughly to God, or perhaps better, an infinite vast light that's made of Arul, which means compassion.
Okay, light made of compassion.
Exactly. And he claimed this, Adyanadiyam Arutperunjothi, this primordial compassionate light, existed even before the Big Bang. Yeah, predating our whole scientific timeline of 13.75 billion years ago. So think about it. Not an explosion as the beginning, but a primordial consciousness, or, well, compassion, as the very first spark. It fundamentally flips the script on reality's nature.
So if compassion is the core of this, Arutperunjothi, how does that connect to his new science of light? Is it different from, say, physics?
This is where it gets really interesting. Unlike Newton or Einstein focusing on physical light, sun, fire, that sort of thing, Valar explained that what we see is actually the last form of light, the most externalized
form.
Right. He taught that the true source, the essence behind all forms of light, is this Arul, this Arutperunjothi. It's not just spiritual light. It's like the fundamental energy behind all existence. And that ties into what he called a new science of vision, which goes way beyond what optometrists deal with. Valar described 5 eyes humans have. There's the physical one, obviously. Then a mental eye for imagination. A psychic eye, this one perceives the subtle aura around others.
Oh, interesting.
Then a spiritual eye to see the spirit within other people. And finally, the ultimate one, the eyes of compassion, or divine eyes.
Divine eyes.
With these, he claimed he saw the entire universe, all the galaxies, even all alien beings. He famously said, "I saw all the galaxies. As there are beings in all the galaxies, only humans come from that path." It really makes you wonder, about the potential lying dormant in our own perception.
That's quite a claim. Seeing alien beings, the whole universe, through these divine eyes.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he went even further, suggesting the human body itself is key to achieving immortality, divinity even. How can our physical body be so central to something so, well, grand?
It absolutely is central in his view. Vallalar taught, and this is a direct quote, that the very purpose of human life is to have immortality and divinity, not to die.
Not to die. Wow.
And he was clear. This isn't about magic stones or, external rituals. It's achieved through absolute compassion. He apparently demonstrated this himself, transforming his own body through 9 stages. It's quite remarkable.
The 9 stages.
Yeah. He described going from a normal physical body to what's called a siddhi body, sometimes called an iron body or pure body, like a perfected, resilient form.
Okay.
Then a pranava body or omkara body. And finally, the light body, Suddha Deham, Pranava Deham, Yana Oli Deham. He described it with several names. This final stage basically transcends physical limits. He claimed he could appear in any of these forms at will.
So we're talking about a literal physical transformation, evolution almost, it sounds like. like a future-focused version of Darwin, maybe?
Yeah.
But looking ahead instead of back.
That's actually a really good way to put it. Darwin focused on the past, right? How we got here. Valar seems to offer insights into the future of human evolution specifically, getting this immortal body.
Right.
And it's interesting, Darwin himself apparently admitted he didn't know about future transformations for humans. What's really wild is you have scientists now, people like Ray Kurzweil, Michio Kaku, Aubrey de Grey, seriously talking about human immortality. Some even predict it by like 2030.
That soon?
Well, that's the prediction mentioned. It does suggest modern science might just be catching up to some of Valar's ideas from, 150 years ago. And this idea, becoming divine yourself, it's a really unique part of the Tamil Gnana, the tradition of wisdom there.
Right.
It talks about the soul, about God, sure, but it distinctively adds this path to self-divinity. Thiruvalluvar, an earlier Tamil sage, he captured it. He who lives a virtuous life on earth will be placed among the gods. And the Thirukkural, the source notes, isn't just ethics. It covers philosophy, yoga, jnana wisdom. Valar apparently took all that and added science to it, made it comprehensive, practical.
Okay, we've touched on the cosmos, human evolution. But how did he weave these huge spiritual and scientific ideas together? Especially this idea of the body as a microcosm, a mini cosmos.
Right. He built on Thiruvalluvar's concept of Nunman Nulaibulam. It means something like subtle insight or entering the subtle.
Nunman Nulaibulam.
Okay. Thiruvalluvar famously said something like, beauty without this subtle insight is like a painted doll in a big empty space, just surface level.
I see.
Valar clarified this. He distinguished Manman, that's the physical sky, outer space that we see from Nunman. Nunman is the inner space, inside us. Specifically near the pineal gland above the uvula. He said there's a lamp burning there. That's the Atma, the soul, our true inner temple.
Inner temple.
Exactly. And within that Atma, which he calls the temple of God, resides Arutperunjothi. Its very movement, its dance, is perceived as Nataraja, the cosmic dancer.
That's a really profound connection. The body is a temple of the divine within. It makes me think of the Chidambaram temple, with its unique empty space worship. Is there a link?
Absolutely. There's a strong connection drawn in the source. Valar described this divine empty space as Parambalam. He located it not just within us, but also way out beyond the galaxies.
Beyond galaxies.
Yeah. And he characterized it as Min Maruthu Sudarmayam, a radiant light without stars, pure radiance. He also explained the Atma itself isn't just light or just empty space. It's both simultaneously. Vani and Endrum, Oli Endrum, Vaguparitham, Podu, space and light at the same time. It's a perception beyond our usual physical categories.
Wow, that's hard to grasp.
It is. And he went further, detailing something called the Sabad Varam, a subtle opening within the soul itself. He called it the most subtle opening in the universe.
Most subtle.
Yes. And to enter it, your consciousness has to become just as subtle. This brings up a key point. What stops us? He warned that things like eating meat, for example, make consciousness thick, dense. It makes entry difficult. He even used that biblical analogy, the camel passing through the eye of a needle. He interpreted the needle's eye as this very sabadvaram.
Interesting interpretation.
And the payoff for entering Nunman, huge. You attain esilnalam, beauty and goodness, essentially. And you transcend the temporary nature of the physical body, which he compared to like a cloud formation. Just temporary, easily dispersed.
This really circles back to that huge claim we mentioned earlier. Vallalar asserting his path is the only way to world peace. That's such a bold statement. What's the reasoning, the evidence?
It is bold. And it comes with a pretty startling observation from the source material. For the last 150 years, since Vallalar attained Siddhi, apparently there have been no wars in the parts of Tamil Nadu where his influence is strong.
No wars?
Yeah.
In 150 years?
Yeah.
That's remarkable if true.
It's a striking claim, certainly. He also really emphasized Anathanam charitable feeding, said it was more important than building temples. His own Dharmashala, a place for feeding the poor, its hearth has supposedly been burning continuously for 150 years, a symbol of constant compassion.
So continuous compassion, charitable acts, leading to peace. It sounds simple, but why do we as humans find it so hard? Why all the conflict? What's going on with human nature?
Well, Aristotle called us the thinking animal, but this thinking ability, unlike just animal instinct, lets us do incredibly destructive things, right? Like building atomic bombs. Vallalar argued, essentially, that humanity is still largely stuck in an animalistic state.
Still animalistic?
Yeah, his solution, simple yet profound, cultivate Daya. Compassion. He states quite directly that only in moments of genuine compassion are we truly human. Otherwise, we're just animalistic. He introduced Kuppusamy, non-killing, as the highest virtue, citing Thiruvalluvar again. Non-killing is the best, then not speaking falsehood. First, non-killing.
And he put this into practice.
Very directly. The source mentions a sign at his temple entrance. Only those who have renounced killing and eating flesh may enter. But he clarified, this temple really refers to the inner self, the entrance to your own divine potential.
The inner temple again.
Exactly. And here's a key distinction he made between humanism, which focuses on human welfare, and Anmaniyam. Anmaniyam is broader, it's universal love, extending to all sentient beings, animals, plants, everything. That universal, boundless love, that's what Vallalar taught as the real path.
Universal love for all beings.
Yeah. And the source gives some powerful examples to illustrate this point. Fritjof Capra, the physicist, he resigned from nuclear physics to write the Tao of physics after someone told him, first human being, then scientist.
Wow.
And Bertrand Russell's point about war, how even highly educated people can prioritize their own minor discomfort, like a headache, over the suffering of millions. It highlights this disconnect.
That rings true, unfortunately.
Right. And Sri Aurobindo, later in The Ideal of Human Unity, basically said wars will only stop when everyone sees everyone else as an extension of themselves. Vallalar articulated the same idea a century earlier in his Parapetsum, his greatest teaching. He urged people, come into the state of seeing all beings as yourself while you have time. That last part feels urgent.
While you have time. Okay, it all ties together then. Compassion isn't just morals. It's presented as this practical path, almost a scientific principle for transformation, peace, evolution. How did you get more practical? Did he talk about levels of knowledge, how to actually apply this?
Yes, he did. He built on Thiruvalluvar's framework of 10 levels of knowledge, sort of a roadmap for consciousness.
10 levels, okay.
So, beyond our 5 senses and the mind or thought as the 6th, there's intuition, the 7th, Arutperunjothi, then deep insight, the 8th, Niyunarthal. Then that 9th level we talked about, Nunman Nulabilam, knowing how to enter the soul's subtle opening.
Right, entering the Nunman.
And the ultimate goal, the 10th level, is Vajrasattva, living wisdom, eternal knowledge. That's what Vallalar himself has supposedly attained. The whole point of human life, he argued, is to climb these levels to Vajrasattva. He even adapted a famous verse from Thiruvalluvar to say, essentially, let go of all other attachments and hold on to Arulambalam, the transformed, compassionate soul, and you'll achieve immortality.
Arulambalam, the compassionate soul.
Exactly. He explained that Daya, compassion, when it's fully cultivated, it ripens into Aru, absolute compassion. And this isn't just a feeling, it changes you physically.
Physically, how?
He talked about Arul, Amritham, a nectar of grace being produced in the brain. This leads to an Arul Udal, a body of grace, and ultimately immortality.
Yeah.
It sounds very much like an internal science, an alchemical process almost, not just mystical belief.
Nectar in the brain. Oh, yeah, that's incredibly specific. It sounds almost biological. You mentioned his scientific foresight earlier. What were some of the most surprising scientific insights he had that really feel ahead of their time?
Well, one truly remarkable claim is that he applied principles similar to Iyya's to the human body decades before Einstein.
Iyya in the body.
How? Specifically talking about how consciousness could exponentially boost the body's efficiency, even digestion. And he apparently mapped out specific subtle energy points, 10 locations, 5 on the tongue, 5 in the brain, where this amrutham, this nectar, flows.
He mapped them. Wow.
Yeah. But maybe the most mind-bending thing, his explanation 150 years ago for why scientists struggle to reconcile relativity, the big stuff, macro, and quantum physics, the tiny stuff, micro.
Okay, why do they struggle? What was his take?
He basically proposed there isn't just one kind of space, or akash. He said there are multiple distinct types of akash operating with different rules. One for the cosmos we see, others for the quantum realm. It's like he perceived reality operating on different frequencies, different types of space.
Different spaces.
Yes. And in his poem, The Agaval, he described 16 different types of Akash and infinite crores, countless versions of Akash and galaxies. Each galaxy, he suggested, has its own unique type of Akash and its own corresponding 5 elements.
That's a completely different cosmology.
It really is.
Yeah.
The source material concludes pretty boldly that modern science might be 500 years away from fully grasping his scientific contributions, calling him worth 1,000 Darwins, 1,000 Einsteins.
1,000 Einsteins.
That's the claim. And it also mentions, almost as an aside, that he taught over 40 different yogic practices, all aimed at facilitating this transformation.
So it truly sounds like, at the core, compassion daya, and this idea of sattvicharam, good inquiry or discussion. Those are the fundamental keys, the levers to unlock this whole path, this roadmap to realizing the Atma and starting that journey towards, well, immortality and a different kind of existence.
Right. We've certainly journeyed deep into Valar's philosophy today, explored this incredible mix of ancient wisdom, what looks like astounding scientific foresight, and really practical guidance for peace, personal change, all through compassion.
Absolutely. And perhaps this leaves you, the listener, with something to really mull over. Given these teachings, what does it actually mean for your perception of reality, knowing that, according to Valar, the entire universe might be viewable from within? And that compassion, well, it might just be the ultimate scientific tool for humanity's ongoing evolution,